the thought I had watching the game yesterday was, does the narrative of the Chiefs only winning because of penalties continue, or does it go away?
Well, Nick, what do you think? I mean, don't you think the refs, needed to step in and help their teammates last night at some point? Instead of calling flag after flag after flag on the Chiefs post-snap penalties, pre-snap penalties. I mean, don't you think they should have swallowed their whistle on behalf of what apparently everybody thought they were doing? Nick, don't you think? What do you think? That's called sarcasm, Nick. That's called sarcasm. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, I just think they should do what's right, and I think they do the best job that they can.
And I agree, and thank you for the call, Nick. Does that erase the narrative? Huh?
No, because, Rich, what happened was
the camera cut to me there.
They decided that they were going to not call as many penalties this game, so to throw everyone off the scent. So for next year, they can pick it back up.
My phone blew up within our text chain, from another text chain, because I am responsible for the National Football League in many people's minds. A lot of friends. A lot of people who...
You're a company guy.
A lot of people who...
Did you hear from Bill Burr last night?
I did not hear from Bill Burr last night. He's one of the few people I did not hear from. Interesting. Because he might be, getting ready for his broad debut of Mamet, as opposed to texting me about refs and stuff.
The refs being
massaged. But that first call, Ron Torbert's team, crew, throwing that flag on A.J. Brown for offensive pass interference on the opening drive of the game. Nick Sirianni's coming out and he's dice rolling from jump, going for it on midfield, 4th and 2, and they're going for a low percentage throw, which is like, let's throw it to, I guess 50-50 would be a low percentage here, or even if it's 60-40, if you think A.J. Brown is physically better than McDuffie. And sure enough, first down, except for offensive pass interference. Brady didn't like it, and neither did our guy who came in here and said it's stupid to talk about conspiracy theories, Mike Pereira. Would rather not see it called. He did put his hand on McDuffie's face mask, gave a little shove, but
and McDuffie was grabbing him. Like that's hand fighting between wide receiver and defensive back.
Okay, so there they were on the spot, taking the ball away from the Philadelphia Eagles, just like they're supposed to do, right? They're on the payroll. Let's find that connectivity for the direct deposit from Clark Hunt to the officials. Well, that's all gone, right? I mean, we've got to do that, right? That's all gone, or the Eagles were just so good the refs couldn't do what they were supposed to do. Is that the narrative? Help me out here.
I mean, outplay the refs.
Help me out. Help me out.
Whatever you say.
No. Help me out.
Whatever you say, man.
Help me out.
What do you mean?
Because the refs were making calls.
Hold on a second. Will you admit that during the course of the NFL season, there were a lot of questionable calls that went Kansas City's way?
Correct. But weren't there a lot of questionable calls that went Philadelphia's way last night?
I'm not talking about last night.
I'm talking about exactly last night.
Well, we're talking about two different things then.
Okay. What I'm saying to you is on certain nights, there are questionable calls for one team. Sure. On other nights, there are questionable calls for another team against the team that's supposed to be helped with these questionable calls more than others to the narrative of that's the reason why they're winning. And that there's a massaging going on and a thumb on the scale.
The problem is that when it's consistently throughout the year, questionable calls goes one team's way, the narrative does build that the fix is in. I'm not saying the fix is in. I've never said that. All I pointed out this year was that there were a lot of questionable calls that went their way, and it's okay to point that out.
But what I'm saying is...
And then the first play of the game that's controversial goes their way.
Right.
It doesn't give any less to the fact that people are going to be like, the fix is in.
I get it. But then the next 58 minutes of the game played out. And if the fix is supposed to be in...
Well, the Eagles got pushed back on 3 field goals.
For those people, if the fix is supposed to be in, shouldn't the Chiefs have been bailed out more than that first one play? And
if there was a fix, then yes. Or the Eagles were just so good it didn't matter.
My point is there are calls that go against the Chiefs as well that don't get as amplified as the Chiefs getting the calls. because it doesn't neatly fit someone else's narrative.
Well, when it's 17, 24, 34, nothing, it kind of
always
doesn't matter.
thought, again, this whole concept that there is a conspiracy happening where the officials know writ large, it's not written down anywhere, but writ large, they need to make sure that the Chiefs win the day by the end of the day. Last night, I guess they didn't come to the rescue.
Did you think David Stern told NBA officials what to do?
No.
Right. But it just so happened to happen quite often.
Mm-hmm. You keep saying you can call the fix in, but then you keep saying things that intimate that you think the fix is in. So I don't get it. Like you're saying
it's not in, but you're pointing out all these things. But
so is the fix in or is it not in? You're like Bill Burr, like you're in the middle of it.
It's impossible to fix an NFL game.
Of course,
it just wouldn't happen. And I've said
so
that.
Why can't we just leave it at that?
Right, and that the Chiefs are a terrific team.
But you can also acknowledge that a lot of fishy, questionable calls went their way this year.
Yeah, but that happens in all sports. Did Michael Jordan get almost every call? Yes. When you're great, the calls that are like 50-50, you get them. It's how it is.
Last night, the call on McDuffie for going high on Goddard, I thought was just as questionable as the first call that went against the Eagles for the Chiefs' benefit.
And Brady pointed out as such as well.
And that created the first scoring opportunity for the Eagles. Otherwise, it would still have been 0-0. So where was the officials' fix in there? There was another moment where the Chiefs... I thought the game was over at 24-0, but they were still hoping to still be in this thing, and they were going to get the ball back because it was now 3rd and forever. But I forgot who got called for late. Was it Bolton for late hitting
Saquon?
I mean, he shoved him.
Well, the play was over, and he's just standing there, and he shoves him.
No, I know that, but
it was pretty ticky-tack, yeah.
Right. And so that's where the officials stepped in and created a first down for the Eagles that they weren't really going to get. They were ready to just give the ball up. All right. I think I've made my point. I hope this buries the narrative. I'm sure it won't.
It won't.
I'm sure it won't.
Rich, because I said in the group chat yesterday, the party I was at, there was a guy who doesn't really watch football that much, and he legitimately was like, so is this like really fixed?
Well, that's a problem.
Our driver, when we first got to New Orleans, and that's been my point all year, when this stuff continually happens, it builds that up. So regular casuals actually think there's a fix in. This also speaks more to what's going on in society today.
I wouldn't mind.
Thank you for putting that last
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, he's not wrong. So, and obviously gambling, people always feel that the NFL officials are seeing the game through the prism of their current bet, as if the officials know what your specific bet is. You are rooting for the under, and you have a prop bet where this particular player is not going to get another catch, and you just let him get a catch when it's clearly pass interference, and you didn't call it for the other guy, and that affects my under, so you're in the take because it's against my specific bet.
But again, the league created this problem by being in bed with the gambling partners.
Which is what I'm saying. If you wanted to, because we were always here at the Rich Eisen Show and Rich Eisen Consulting, offering the fix. The fix is potentially, or the Band-Aid. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to be that, head buried in the sand. No, it's just like maybe you let in the conversation. You let us in on the conversation the officials are having back with the league office.
That'd be great.
And you want a full disclosure? This is what we're talking about. And you may be sitting here and you may be opening up the officials now to sounding clueless and not knowing what they're doing, in the same way that the Giants front office got exposed with some of their conversations and Hard Knocks. You might be creating those mini moments week to week. I don't know if the league is keen on that.
But that'll only make officiating better week to week, right?
I don't know the answer to that. Maybe, the TV networks can listen in on it and then present it, not in real time.
Right.
But this is, hey, you want to know why they called this? This is what we heard on the conversation, the back talk. So maybe. But for a unit that was supposed to rescue the Chiefs, no one was answering the 911 call last night. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.